I think about the Homeland Security effort for Catholic churches and Catholics in general. If you're a run-of-the-mill Catholic, somehow or another, this administration and its officials have deemed Catholics a danger to the homeland. How do you get from, Joe Biden is the adult in the room, get rid of Donald Trump, mean tweets, blah, blah, blah. Let's get Joe Biden in here too. Catholics are now the enemy in our homeland.
Well, I mean, just look at three groups that are now under suspicion of domestic extremism. One, of course, is traditional Catholics and supposedly people who like the Latin Mass, right? Number two, pro-life activists. You have these guys are being hauled up under the so-called FACE Act, which is, again, you can't interfere with the reproductive care facility. Well, there have been leftists who have been burning pro-life centers, and those guys aren't being identified, let alone indicted. And then you've got moms who go to school board meetings who sometimes find themselves under FBI surveillance. So this is an important answer to the people who say, well, I don't know, Dinesh, I'm not Donald Trump, and I didn't go in the Capitol on January 6th, and I pay my taxes and follow the law, so I'm totally safe. They're never going to come after me. I'm never going to hear that FBI battering ram coming through my door. And my answer is, you could not be more wrong. If for some reason you get into their sites, they have many different ways to get you.
We're speaking with Dinesh D'Souza. You are a historian. You understand, have studied, and you articulate what is the American distinction, American greatness. You've done that so well in the films of yours that I've watched, and I've watched many of them. But all of those things that you just listed there when you're talking about, the Catholics, which most people, if you're not Catholic or if you're not religious, Catholics kind of is an overarching word for people who are of Christian faith. When you're talking about pro-life centers and you're talking about schooling and parents at school board meetings, what this all centers around is the supreme unit that exists in American culture, which is the family. Because the family is the individual is supposed to be the we, the people, that sets above the government structure that is not there to overlord us. It's to serve us. And it seems to me that the leftist policies, which we have seen play out in history over time, which I've learned a great deal from watching your documentaries, that in order for the power structures in government to efficiently take over the way of life in a place like the United States of America, the number one thing you have to do is destroy the family unit. And what I'm seeing in police state is it might just be the natural progression of investing even further into taking away what we know, what we adhere to, because the government is now here to be fully in charge.
Yes, I agree that the family unit, because it's such a profound area of human allegiance, they want to dismantle it. This is, by the way, the importance of issues like the trans issue. Like, you think, why are they going after kids and trying to indoctrinate them with trans? What does this even have to do with a police state? And in fact, if you look at police states around the world, a lot of them don't have these features that we have in America. In fact, most police states are actually pretty safe. In China, you can ride the subway. No one's going to come and spit on you in the subway because that guy's going to be carted off. You may never see him again. So in some ways, police states deliver law and order. In some ways, police states don't allow a lot of craziness to occur. They outlaw all that stuff. But in our police state, interestingly enough, they're using the issues of race and gender as mechanisms of division and as battering rams against traditional institutions. That's why, in fact, there's one guy in the movie who blurts out, and it's kind of funny in a sad sort of way. He goes, we're basically becoming China with drag queens. And that shows the peculiar accents of the American police state. Remember, at one time we thought, hey, let's trade with China because we're going to make them more like us. But isn't it a sad fact that here, 25 or 30 years later, we've become a lot more like them?